When the story starts, we meet Milo Rodericks, who used to be an astronomer. He records a message from the destroyed city of the end of the world in which he says he is the last person on Earth. Things move back in time to the year 2016. There are wars, diseases, and poverty all over the world. Milo, a young boy in New York who has to use a wheelchair, wants to be a scientist. A farmer named Ricky Stormgren goes about his day in Missouri. All of a sudden, a huge rocket stops moving in the sky for no reason and slowly falls into a field. But this is only the start of strange things to happen. Soon, cell phone service stops working all over the world, and huge strange spaceships appear over dozens of big towns. People are scared and ready for the worst as they look up at the sky. At the same time, all planes made by people fall to the ground without causing any damage. People are shocked when all of a sudden they start to see their dead relatives and hear from Karelin, the supervisor of the Earth. The foreign intelligence that looks like a person says that they have come to end wars, hunger, and unfair treatment of people, and to start the Age of Peace. The visitors, who have been named the Overlords, don't want to take over Earth. They're here to help people make it a better place to live. People, on the other hand, are skeptical about this unbelievable news. Do you think the aliens are real? Would you try to fight their impact or give in to their smarter ideas? Drop your ideas in the box below. Ricky and his wife Ellie watch the news, which says that all wars have miraculously ended around the world. People in the Missouri town are worried about the invasion, but Ricky, one of the town's leaders, tries to calm them down and suggests that they just watch what's happening. Every electrical gadget in Ricky and Ellie's house breaks down in the evening. Then the whole house starts shaking, and the scared couple quickly runs to the basement with their dog. There are cracks in the house that let in greenish light, and soon an unknown force starts taking the house apart into its tiny parts to get to Ricky. When he leaves the house, he sees a huge alien drone. He decides to go with them, but he asks them not to touch his family. Ricky suddenly finds himself in a fancy hotel room where he spent his honeymoon with his late wife Annabelle after going into the alien spaceship. She died of cancer, and Ricky is still having a hard time dealing with it, even though he is now with someone else. Suddenly, Karelin's voice fills the room with her offer to help connect humans and the Overlords. You can't make Ricky do what Karelin wants, and he doesn't understand why he was given this task. Karelin is adamant, though, and she gives Ricky an unknown object without saying what it is for. Reporters crowd around Ricky's house after hearing that aliens have arrived in Missouri. Paul Danlow, a government spy, also goes to Missouri to find out more about Ricky's talk with Karelin. Agent Danlow sees Ricky holding an alien treasure and tells him to give it to him so he can keep it safe. Danlow threatens Ricky with a gun when he says no. Ricky is able to open the mysterious ship by tricking it, and all diseases start going away around the world. Soon, Ricky is taken to the White House, where he talks to reporters about his talks with Karelin and why working with him is a good idea. But a lot of people still don't trust the strangers. Hugo Wainwright, a media mogul, thinks the aliens are smarter than they look, so he chooses to fight them. Wainwright quietly forms a rival group called the Freedom League, which makes millions of people even less trusting of the Overlords. Following some time, Ricky tells Karelin again what's going on in the world and that the Freedom League is growing stronger. People are afraid that they are being led by people who are like them, but Karelin says the aliens are nothing like people. At the same time, Milo sets out one night to find his mother, who likes to sniff snow and is currently having a disagreement with a supplier. People shoot Milo because he stands up for her. Suddenly, a beam of light comes from the sky and kills the thief while also bringing Milo back to life. The boy then suddenly gets out of his wheelchair and starts walking again. Later, on a TV show, Wainwright talks about the alien's sentence, but leaves out the part about how the boy miraculously got better. The host recommends getting in touch with another alien sufferer. Her mother killed herself because the Overlords ruined her faith, and Peretta Jones is a holy girl. The girl is afraid that the next generation won't know about God. The Freedom League uses her story as another reason why they don't agree with the Overlord's rule. Soon after, Wainwright plans to kidnap Ricky and makes him join the Freedom League. They are about to kill Ricky because he won't give in, but Karelin stops time and lets Ricky get away. It turns out that this theft was shown on TVs all over the world. Karelin let Wainwright's people kidnap Ricky to make the Freedom League look bad in the eyes of the public, which shows they are ready to do anything. Karelin tells Ricky that people are not ready to accept his true form yet when they meet. Ricky demands that he finally shows his true self to them. Karelin tells Ricky that they have helped more than just people from Earth and ends their work together. At the same time, the news says that Hugo Wainwright died on his own. In the first stage of their plan to take over Earth, these events marked the end of the fight. It's been 15 years. Milo becomes a scientist after he graduates from college. People enjoy the gift of endless youth and a paradise on Earth, but they still can't wait to meet the overlords, who are known as their protective angels. The overlords finally decide to show themselves to people. A huge ship of the overlords rises in the sky, and hundreds of thousands of people are looking forward to meeting their sponsors. At the same time, Jake Gregson's family meets in front of the TV so they don't miss the important event. 2 children are sent into the ship to formally welcome Carolyn. When they finally come out, Carolyn's look, which looks like a monster, shocks everyone. It's now 2035. All people have united into one country and live in peace and wealth, without any illnesses or problems. But there is only one free city left: New Athens. This is for people who don't agree with the overlord's new rules. Milo and his friend Rachel work at a school in Africa, where Dr. Boyce is in charge. Milo's new project, on the other hand, is shelved and he has to quit his job. Milo now wants to study the overlords, who haven't told humans much about themselves or their world in the past 19 years. There's still no trust in the overlords among Peretta Jones. After reading a lot of books, she comes to the conclusion that Carolyn is really the devil sending Ricky as a fake messenger. Ricky's house is once again lit up by a flash of light at night, which leads him to the barn to meet Carolyn. Ricky is shocked that Carolyn showed up out of the blue, but he says he came to say sorry and tell Ricky the truth. Everyone is upset the next day because no one knows why Carolyn went back to Ricky's farm. Dr. Boyce's study center in Africa is suddenly shook by strange tremors. Rachel goes to the cages where the animals that were scared are kept and sees that one of the monkey's eyes is glowing in a way that doesn't make sense. After the shaking stops, Dr. Boyce finds a new room in the Institute building. He walks in and sees a big, bright Ouija board in the middle of the room. Some people believe that this is an evil device used by Satan. At night, an alien drone flies over Jake Gregson's house and shines a greenish light on everyone inside. The beam stops on Jake's wife, Amy's belly, and the Ouija board starts to work at the same time. The drone soon flies off, and Amy, who is getting antsy, starts to see things. The parents all of a sudden realize that Tommy is not with them. When Jake goes to the barn and sees Tommy, the boy has changed a lot and is now very strong. After some time, Jake and Amy go to see Peretta Jones, a therapist, and tell her about their son's strange behavior. While talking to Peretta, Tommy says that the overlords often take him to a faraway, strange place where he sees a huge eye and the earth on fire. Suddenly, a scary noise in his head cuts him off in the middle of his story. Tommy runs around the house quickly and almost hurts Peretta with his strength, which bends her cross. He then puts his hand on his mom's belly and tells her the baby is no longer crying. Amy is shocked though, and she says she is not pregnant. Milo and Rachel are worried about the strange behavior of animals in Africa. They think it has something to do with how all of Earth's species were chosen by the overlords. But Dr. Boyce tells them not to get involved in Carolyn's business. There is no doubt that Milo and Rachel want to know the truth about the overlords. At the same time, Ricky's hand starts to hurt very badly. When he gets to the hospital, he finds out that the toxic skin of the spaceship has given him cancer and made it impossible for him to have children. Because Carolyn has helped Ricky so much, Ellie is sure that he will help him again. After 4 months, Jake and Amy find out they are going to have a girl soon. Amy thinks of a name for the child, and Jake and Tommy play outside. All of a sudden, Tommy tells his dad to call Jennifer, and Amy decides to give her daughter the name Jennifer at the same time. Later, Dr. Boyce gives Jake a job offer in Africa and asks his whole family to a big party, because Carolyn told him to. When Jake gets to the strange event, he meets Milo, who tells him that Boyce isn't hiring anyone else. Jake thinks something is wrong and tells Amy to leave, but first he needs to find Tommy. Soon, Dr. Boyce comes up to Amy and tells her that Carolyn wants to meet her. The scared woman is taken into a room with the Ouija board, and Amy is forced to touch it. In the womb, this is how Carolyn wakes Jennifer up. He teaches her that she is not like other people and that she needs to accept herself as she is. Jennifer will lead the other kids and save the world one day. Carolyn goes back to Ricky's house the next day and gives him a gadget that can fix him. Peretta suddenly bursts into the barn. She has been living near the farm for a while and says Carolyn is lying. Carolyn admits that he is to blame for Ricky's inability to have children. Ricky doesn't know what he did to receive this fate, but Carolyn says that the children won't have to go through a lot of pain because they aren't there. A terrible day is coming, and people with kids will have it even worse. Peretta grabs a gun and shoots at Carolyn because he can't take what she's saying, but Ricky heals Carolyn with his strange gadget. There is a reason why Dr. Boyce thinks Carolyn wants to bring the animals to his world. Like Noah, he is making his ark before something terrible happens. At night, Peretta sees the ghost of her mother and jumps off the balcony to follow it. Amy soon gives birth to a girl whose eyes give off a scary green light. It's been 4 years now. Still, Ricky is in terrible pain. Carolyn comes back to his house one day and tells him that the overlords are going to change the way humans evolve. Carolyn offers to help Ricky, but he's mad that he can't have children, so Ricky turns her down and tells her to go. Suddenly, all of Earth's children have skills and can telekinesis and telepathy. He is sure that Jennifer is the key to everything and that it all started with her. There are a lot of kids waiting in front of the Gregson and family's house to meet Jennifer. Jake chooses to visit New Athens over them. Soon, though, all of the kids start to hear the voice of a being called the Over, begrudgingly asks to destroy the room. Ricky goes back home with a sad heart and dies in Ellie's arms. The Gregson family watches an old comedy at the movies, just like they used to. The showing stops all of a sudden, and Jennifer speaks up, saying that the time has come. Carolyn's face shows up on the screen, and she speaks to everyone one last time. He says that the golden age of people is coming to an end. Tommy says that Jennifer let him say goodbye to his parents, but now he has to go with the other kids. At the same time, Jerry Holcroft sees that people can't be saved without children, so he plans to blow up New Athens with a nuclear bomb. Jake tries to talk Jerry out of it, but Jerry is set on doing it. He hopes that they can all see their kids again after the story is over. In a white space, he sees a strange orange shape that turns out to be the Overmind. So-called God says that only children can develop into a single mind. After that, back to her. After 45 years, the ship is once again getting close to the dead Earth. Carolyn tells them that Rachel was moved to the ship and invites Milo to see her. Milo only sees Rachel's dead body, though. He takes her ring out of the blue, and Rachel's body breaks into many pieces. Milo's hand is burned in the shape of the hieroglyph for love by the ring. Milo knows he's the only person left in the universe who is human, and he begs Carolyn to take him back to Earth because he can't stand being alone. Milo also says he will tell the aliens about the end of the world for the sake of science. We see the scene that started the story. Milo talks to the overlords and tells them not to forget about people. As time goes on, he sees Jennifer continue. At the very end, Milo asks that something from human culture be kept. Carolyn picks music from his childhood, which Milo listens to as he accepts the end of the world. This was Childhood's End on TV.